Welcome, divine creations, divine marvels. So, um, here's a quote from Bruno Groening that's it's really speaking to me lately. Therefore, I give you one good piece of advice, dear friends, as you are in need of the divine order. It is your duty and obligation to connect yourself with God, with all the good that God has decreed for us, for each one of us. And as I was reflecting on this, I was reflecting on one of my all-time favorite TV shows, Star Trek, the Star Trek series. And they have, um, in this, they have something called the Prime Directive, which is like the most important rule, the number one order of business. Like the first thing you do is follow the Prime Directive in the Star Trek, in the Star Trek TV show. And then I feel like here, this is what Bruno Groening is saying to us, that um, it is our duty and our obligation to be connected to God. That is the most important thing. In fact, elsewhere he said to be connected to God, that is everything. That's a strong statement. That is everything. Look around us. Think of our life. What in our life is everything? Well, Bruno Groening said God, and more importantly, being connected to God is everything. So I'll read it again. Therefore, I give you one good piece of advice, dear friends, as you are in need of the divine order. It is your duty and obligation to connect yourself with God, with all the good that God has decreed for us, for each one of us. And Bruno was he often said that God has decreed. What a strong word, decreed so much good for us. He said, actually, we can't even begin to fathom how much good God has in store for us. And so that's why it's our duty and obligation. I would even say it's our need, it's our primary need. And here Bruno points out something very interesting. He says, as you are in need of the divine order. So while being connected to God is like the foundation, and of course the trust in God is the foundation that we want to build our life on this path. Before we do that, there's one step before that. We need to recognize our need of God. If we don't recognize that we need divine order, that we need the good, that we need God, we're not going to seek it. If we don't recognize how strong evil is, we're not going to make God priority number one. We're not going to make connecting to God our prime directive, make it the most important thing in our lives. It's written that Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of God. And it's written, he said, and all these things shall be added unto you, meaning all the things of life, food and shelter and work, that everything we need actually comes from connecting to God. But to do that, as Bruno pointed out here, we need to recognize the need that we have for divine order, for divine help. So I wish everyone here a very beautiful day of, no, not a beautiful day that comes from seeking the divine connection, putting God first. And the way to do this, Bruno said that we need to come to self-reflection and self-understanding. And part of that is to recognize all that evil has done to us. Another way to say it is all that we've let evil do to us. Bruno said that once we recognize, and I'm paraphrasing here, the extent to which evil has debased us, that's when God is able to help us. We have to recognize that how much harm evil has done to us, and that we don't want any more of it, and then then we become open and very willing and even maybe excited to seek God because we've recognized our need for God. So I wish you a beautiful day. And for me, what makes my days beautiful is connecting to God, connecting to beauty itself, feeling that connection, and then living from that place, being guided. Take care, everyone. So much love and so much beautiful healing energy. Aloha.